Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Enterprise Architecture. We are back here playing more Liminal Industries. Now, Geek and I have started the progression to move our base into this giant room that we found in the Backrooms here. I can't even chunk load the end of this room. It is so big, which is great. Plenty of space to build our new mega factory. Now, I have started to set up a little bit of automation in here, and today I want to start automating the production of iron, and if I have time, maybe even copper. So let me show you what we built, and then we'll get to that automation. With no further ado, let's dive right in. So at the end of the last episode, I set up a tiny steam boiler here to start powering our various contraptions. Now, originally, I only had the basic blaze burners here, but I've added straws to each of those. Straws are really easy to make in this pack. You literally just take a piece of bamboo and run it through the rolling mill. That will make your straw. I put one on every single one of the blaze burners, and now they have these little hats that look like they have little cups on the sides. You can kind of see them, but not with the flames around them. And I have pipes going into the bottom here, fluid pipes that are bringing in lava. So that's powering this setup, and hopefully that will keep going forever. We can continue to grow this vertically so that we have more and more engines on this as we need as well. I really need to get to brass though, and for that, I will then be able to make a rotational speed controller. That's going to upgrade our game significantly. Now, over here is the lava production. This is exactly the same setup that I had done before, and I showed you all in the last check-in video I did, but now I have basically tried to make this so I can parallelize it. So you can see now it's all in a single plane, and we can pump out a whole lot more lava really quickly. There's two buckets in this system, so it can be in parallel at any given time. So while one is, I just jumped right into the fire there. While one is cooking, the next one is being filled, and it continues this loop over and over again. Wow, that's really annoying. Okay, there we go. So if I want to, I can add a bunch more of these in a row. I'll probably do at least a couple more to keep up with all of the lava production I'm going to need for all of the burners that we're going to have here eventually. We're going to need more than one engine. I expect we're probably going to have 6 engines or 9 engines when I am done with this phase of setup. But for that, I need a lot more iron. I need to automate our ash alloy production. I need a lot more copper. And at some point here thereafter, I'm also going to need to automate zinc so that we can make brass. So the first thing I'm going to do here is make our iron automation setup. Now, while I've been moving, Geek has been exploring the back rooms and finding more and more spaces nearby to our base here. So he did mark for me a nice little spot here where we have red carpet nearby, and apparently copper also very, very close by. So we can automate both of those really easily. All right, so just around that corner there, here is the setup that he put together so that we can get our crimsite. Crimsite is going to be what we are using to automate our production of iron. In this pack with crimsite, let's go ahead and take a look here. Crimsite, yes, if we use this recipe, you can see that we can crush that, and that makes crushed raw iron. We only have a 40% chance of that, but that's still pretty good. So we use that crushed raw iron in a bulk blasting setup to make iron ingots. So this will make our infinite iron for us. So what I want to do is pull the crimsite out of this bamboo drawer here and onto some sort of a conveyor belt that will then push this through some crushing wheels, which I have made up between episodes, and then through a fan, which will blow the hot air from lava onto the conveyor belt, and then that will melt all of the iron into actual iron ingots. Now, what we do want to do is probably pull this out onto a belt, and I think maybe the easiest way to get this belt going is probably in this direction so that we can have a multi-stage process. So let's put a shaft right here. And I'm not going to put the andesite ash alloy, the andesite funnel, which in this pack is called an ash alloy funnel, on here just yet, because otherwise it'll start pouring items out and then they will just despawn. That's not ideal. All right, so we're going to start with a belt, and I like to use this little trick so that you can just extend belts, and that lets you, as you're figuring out your logistics, continue to grow your belt setup. I'm going to do something like this. One block here is going to be used for actually having our exporter, our funnel on that. We will put a shaft here right in the middle, and that should give us enough room that if we put vertical gearboxes on either side, we can have our crushing wheels horizontal. Now, this is a neat little trick. If you haven't already seen this, you can put crushing wheels just like this. And I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe if you turn these, then this should start going in the same direction as the belt. I think that the gearboxes are set up to make this an ideal setup. If not, I'm going to have to rethink this, and it's going to be very, very annoying with a lot of janky logistics. To then do something with the actual iron, we are going to need to actually put this into some sort of a container. Let's go ahead and put down a block here, and we should probably make ourselves up another drawer. And ideally, we will lock this drawer later. I don't think I have the key on me. I think I left that back at our original base, so I'm going to have to deal with that later. But if I put the drawer right here, this should get the output. And if we put a single piece of iron in it, then it will only take iron in there. We're going to do that later, but we just need enough room to work. Now, the other thing that this needs is a smelting setup. So for that, we are going to need to put some lava down at a block right next to this. I'm going to just steal this cobblestone here so that I can do that. And it'll blow across this belt. So we're going to go one block over here. So the lava is going to be housed right in this block here. So let's put down another slab there. We'll put a slab as a temporary holding measure here and here. There we go, just like that. And to blow through it, you need a block that's going to be transparent that is not a solid block. Iron bars work great for this. That will trap the lava right there. And then the only thing that we are missing at this point is we do need to put our fan down. So let's put this as a building block, and then we'll put our fan right here. Now, getting your fan to go in the right direction is always a little bit of a pain. It never seems to blow the way that I want it to blow. So we're going to have to play with this just a little to get it how we want it. I think what we'll be able to do is actually, instead of having these blocks here, I should be able to use shafts coming through here, and that'll also keep the lava from flowing. And if I want to, I can put an andesite block on top of that just to make it solid and make it look a little nicer. So I think I'm going to do that too. Let's go ahead and make up a couple of those andesite casings. Again, ash alloy casings in this particular pack, just like that. We can break those with our wrench very, very rapidly. And let's put those on here just to make that look nice and pretty. Now we have an encased shaft. Actually, I didn't need two of those because it doesn't consume them when you're using it for decorative purposes like this. All right, so the only thing to do is now connect up this fan to this belt, just like this. And we're gonna do that with a mechanical belt. I should say with a shaft, but there we go. All right, so these are now connected. If this is going the wrong way, I will have to put either some sort of a gearbox in here, or you can also use a gear shaft for it. I think gearboxes are easier, and we also have them on us, which makes it the most important thing. All right, that is our entire automated setup. Now, before we can turn it on, what we need to do is supply power. Now, as I was mentioning before, I like to give myself a little bit of room to build out my power supply here. So we're gonna come over just a couple of blocks with our shafts. And now this is when we start working backwards through our big little setup for our cog wheels to make sure this is going at a speed that is useful and relevant. So we go up first with it. So this big one will turn the little one nice and fast for us. A little one will go here, but before we put it back onto this one, we are going to want to put a andesite casing on there, just like that. And now we put another big one here. And then I think we're going to try and do this one more time because, again, water wheels are very, very, very slow. All right. Give me that lava, and let's place the lava down onto this setup that should then not burn the building down, just like that. Nice and contained. There's our lava. And now we can put down our water wheels. Let's go ahead and grab up a gearbox. We'll put this right here. We're going to give one shaft extra space because you never know when you're going to need extra space to add a clutch or something like that. And we're going to put our giant water wheels right here in place. All right, so you can see this is now going, but it is going very, very, very slowly. And number two, this is sucking instead of blowing. So to reverse the direction of this, we are going to need to make up one more gearbox. So let's do that real quick. All we have to do is make up 4 cog wheels, just like that. And then we can wrap those around one of our ash alloy casings, just like this, not like that. There we go. There we go. And now we just replace this block with that block, and that will give us our lovely, lovely heated system for cooking. This is going slowly, and at some point in the near future, like I mentioned, we'll have rotational speed controllers, and we can increase the speed of this dramatically. But for right now, this is just going to have to do because we're going to need a lot more cogwheels to be able to increase the speed of this. All right, so after redoing the water wheels a couple of times here and getting this all set up, we have a decent amount of gear ratio here, a decent amount of speed. Again, we do need a rotational speed controller and a bunch more water wheels to really bump this through the roof, but this should be going pretty fast enough for us for the actual smelting that we want to be doing here. So let's go ahead and just climb up here, take one more look at our setup before we turn it on and make sure that everything is working the way that we want it to. That's blowing there, this is blowing here, this is rolling through there, and again, the wheels are going in the right direction. All of that looks good to me. I'm sure one of you is probably sitting there staring at the screen being like, oh, you messed something up and missed it, but I'm hoping I did not. Let's put our funnel on there, and a funnel, when it's on a belt, will automatically go in the direction of the belt. That is being smelted up down there, and then the belt is halting. That's exactly what we want to see. That's getting cooked into a piece of iron, which is also what we want to see. Let me see if I can grab this off of here. We can. And eventually we'll have brass funnels, and this will go much, much, much faster. We'll put this iron into this box, and that will eventually, I'll go get my key and lock that. So we have nothing but iron coming into that. And there we go. Now we have iron completely automated. Oh, but we did forget the most important thing, which is we have to have a funnel going into that box there. There we go. And now that will only accept pieces of iron. And as those get smelted, they will get sucked in. Like I said, brass will make this much, much more efficient. We do not have brass yet. You know, honestly, I think that's not good enough. I don't really like that we still don't have brass. And as you all may remember, between episodes there, Geek and I had fought a bunch of blazes, and I made 10 blaze burners, not 9 as part of that. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and add the blaze burner to our mixing setup, and that should now make it so that we can make brass. Let's just double check, excuse me. Yes, definitely brass. All right, I think we have everything that we need for that. Heated, yes. Copper and zinc, yes. Do we have zinc in here? Yeah, we have zinc in here. Let's grab a bunch of zinc up. Let's grab a bunch of copper up. Let's do 20 to start because we're not using our zinc for anything else. I did just find a bunch more batteries though. I guess we could start smelting those up. Yeah, look, we have plenty of batteries, but we're just gonna start with 20 of each for our purposes this time around. So dump our copper in here, dump our zinc in here. Nothing's going to start happening until we turn it on and then feed this blaze burner. Hey, little happy blaze. Let's go ahead and give you, I don't know, 17 pieces of charcoal. Maybe let's just do 12. 12 should be plenty to keep you going. Oh, look how quickly that's going. I didn't even need you that much. We could have given you way less. So that'll give us 40 pieces of brass to start with, and that will continue our questing here just a little bit. Great, 40 pieces of that, and I think that is in the Bronze Age here. Yeah. This is starting to unlock these pieces. Oh, excuse me, the Brass Age, not Bronze. I always make that mistake, although in my head, I know them completely separately. We can start making trains with this, which is going to be super, super good. Steel plates and lead plates for sturdy sheets. But yeah, getting train networks all throughout those hallways I just showed you. Can you all imagine? It's going to be super great. But for now, that's not what we're after. Instead, what we are after is something much, much, much more basic. I just need brass funnels. For that, I am going to need to make some electron tubes. For that, I am going to need to make some more rose quartz. As you all may remember, rose quartz is one of the more annoying things to make in this pack. And we're going to need some redstone acid to be able to make this rose quartz. So if we hop over here to our crystallizer, oh, we have redstone acid already in here. I'm just going to put it in our quartz dust, and hopefully that will convert down. Let's see here. Is it one? Yeah, it's 1 bucket each. So let's add 1 more bucket to this. And that'll give us 4 pieces of rose quartz. We'll use that to make up some brass funnels real fast. Now, is there anything else we need besides brass funnels? Oh, there is. Let me add this to our list. Rotational speed controller. One of my favorite blocks in this game. For this, we are going to need to take our brass casing and add a precision mechanism. You all remember precision mechanisms. We did this a couple of times already in the past here. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of these rotational speed controllers. So let me go make those up real fast over in this section. As soon as we get, there we go, our rose quartz. We do now have our precision mechanisms made during that interval. I'm going to go ahead and file down this rose quartz that we got out of our bath there, our crystallizer. There we go. Now we have 4 pieces of polished rose quartz. We are going to need 4 iron ingots there. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Let's throw this onto, oh, the smoosher. Yeah, that's what we need. Smoosh it. There we go. Smooshing has been complete. We're going to use that to make our electron tubes. There we go. Now we have some of these lovely diodes. And with that, we should be able to make a pair of brass funnels. And I'm actually going to make one more pair. The extra electron tubes was part of my miscounting. Oh, no, 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 no. Stop pulling things out of there. Okay, so that's the first piece. We've got those brass ingots down. Now it's time for our rotational speed controllers. All I need to do is make up a couple of our casings. Does these, oh, can I not make, how do I make the brass casing? Oh, I need fiber board. What is fiber board? Fiber made sawdust and a bucket of phenolic resin? How do we make phenolic resin, y'all? Okay, so let's add these to our shopping list. Sawdust. I think we could just make that with a saw, right? Yeah, the create saw will do it. So we should be able to saw down any number of pieces of furniture to get sawdust with a create saw. So I'll use that to get our sawdust. Phenolic resin is another question. How do we make phenolic resin? Let's see here. In the refinery with ethanol and creosote, how far away are those? Ethanol we can do with any of our vegetables, but we're going to need an industrial fermenter. Oh, that is annoying. Okay, well, this is going to be like way too many quest lines here. Well, maybe not. We have all of these things. We can make all of those things very, very easily. We've already made all of the ingredients for that in the past. So the other question here is, how do we make the refinery? The heavy engineering blocks are annoying, but we did them in the last episode, so we can make those up real fast. I tell you what, everyone, I'm going to go off camera really quick here and make up all of these ingredients. And I think we're going to dig a little bit further in here than I had originally planned, just so that we can get these rotational speed controllers and simplify our setup real fast. So let me go make up a billion ingredients, and I'll be back, well, in a flash for you all, but it's probably going to take me about 45 minutes my side to get all of these things done. All right, let's see if we can't get this set up in this general region here. Maybe I'll do it on the other side of this wall. We're going to have to tear down all of these machines at some point in the near future anyway. First things first, let's get started with the industrial fermenter here. We are going to need to refer to our immersive engineering book to figure out how to make this because we cannot get it from those recipes. This is going to be relatively easy. We just need that light engineering block and then ring it with a bunch of our frames here. So let's come over a couple of blocks and do just like this. There is our industrial fermenter. Easy enough for us. I really wish you could rotate these once you build them. That is my only regret for these machines, but we can indeed run our power to them all the way through from over here. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with the refinery. Our light engineering block is going to go on the back so that we can get the power to it easiest. Let's just line this right up with this one, and we're going to put it right here. Does that give us enough room to get between it? Yeah, that gives us enough room to get between it. Okay, great. And then the heavy engineering block goes in front of that. We're going to have our scaffolding and our pipes. More sheet metal. There we go. And that should be it. Now all we have to do is whack the heavy engineering block with the hammer. And let's get off that before we do it. Perfect. That is now set up. And then we can just run our cables off the top of this onto this. All right, let's go ahead and put this into here and see how quickly that we can get this. Oh, it's just running out of power immediately. All right, well, we are now getting ethanol. That's the important part. There we go. Okay, that gives us a bucket of ethanol. So we should be able to pull that out of here. There we go. 1 bucket of ethanol. Wonderful. And now we need to combine 8 millibuckets with 8 millibuckets to get 8 millibuckets of phenolic resin and a silver plate. Okay, let me put 1 bucket in here. Can I just bucket this? Oh, I can't just bucket this, can I? Okay, well, I had expected that would be the case. So let's go ahead and use a tank here. We're going to put our input in there. Is that gonna, will you take that in? All right, y'all, I came up with a solution, and I think you're going to hate it. So we're going to use a mechanical pump. We are going to reverse the direction of that mechanical pump. We are going to use a cogwheel on top. We are going to put a hand crank on that. And then we are going to dump our ethanol in here. This is totally scuffed, but it will indeed crank out a bucket of fluid with no trouble. All right, let's come back over here. We have some creosote oil waiting for us. Let me grab that up. We're going to throw this into the container. We do need to make a steel plate, or excuse me, a silver plate while we're at it. Let's find our silver. There's our silver. We're going to need one silver plate to be able to process this. Put this down in the bonking machine. There you go. Bonked. All right, same deal on the other side. Creosote oil goes in. We turn the magical crank, and momentarily this should pop out the other side. There we go. Perfect. Give me all that stuff back. We come over here. Ethanol, creosote oil, silver plate. This is now going to process. Hopefully that silver plate sticks around long enough. I think it's 1-to-1 here. And we have 1 bucket of phenolic resin. To get that back out, it's much easier. We just put down our tank here. That comes out there. And there we go. 1 bucket of phenolic resin. Now, careful observers will note that I believe we need multiple blocks of this fiberboard. This makes 8 up for us with this 1 bucket. So we should have plenty there. Now all that's left is to put together a create saw. That should be easy for us given everything else that we've already done here. Create saw. Okay, great. One of these mechanical saws. We are going to need a saw blade. There we go. There's the saw blade. We take our ash alloy casing here, put this down, whack it, saw, done. All right, so I just plunked the saw down here. I don't know if this will work for us or not, but only one way to find out. Yeah, that is making entirely the wrong thing, but now we have bamboo doors and stairs. Okay, so we at least know the saw works, even though they gave us garbage that I don't need. All right, so let's go ahead and try this real quick. There we go. We got some planks out of that, but that's not what we want. We want sawdust. So let's keep grinding through. Oh, there's only a 20% chance here for all of these. I don't see any of these that are going to give me a better percent chance yet. All right, y'all, I really wish I had a better way to generate sawdust here. I basically had to go through a couple of stacks of furniture to get sawdust back out. And that was, honestly, it just wasn't very much fun to do that. I don't think that there's any other way to get sawdust for us at this point without spending a lot more time to make new machines. There is the thermal series that we can get sawdust back out of it using the pulverizer, the sawmill, but that's going to require the machine frame, and the machine frame requires 2 different pieces, the top and the bottom. We're not there yet. I can't make a nori crystal because I haven't made the atomic reconstructor, and there's a billion other things we need to make. So I'm not going to spend another hour doing that. We are just going to jump ahead here. We are going to make this fiberboard block. There we go. With the fiberboard block in hand, we now can make a brass casing. So let's grab up our pieces of brass. Let's do 2 of those. I need 2 of these. Here we go. At long last, this is one of the more annoying crafts that I have encountered in this pack so far. Not a fan of this at all. Precision mechanisms, though, added on, and there we go. Rotational speed controllers are done, and I feel very good about the world we are in now. Okay, let's replace all this jank with the rotational speed controller we just made. There we go. Isn't that so much prettier? Now we have lots and lots of fine-grained control over our production process here. The one thing we want to do is make sure this is going the right direction. Right now, this is now reversed. So we need it to go in this direction, and we can now control how fast it goes. Let's start with 64. That's working. Now, at some point, we'll hit a stress point where this will stop working, and we won't know until we tweak it. So let's just do increments of 4. Yeah, so somewhere around there. 113 is the magic number. There we go. Okay, so this is as fast as this will go for us now. And this system is going much, much better. The one thing we will do to make it even better than that is we will now add our brass funnels. Let's break this funnel. We're going to put a brass funnel on there. There we go. This should now be putting out a stack at a time. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and it looks like this has been running for a while. Geek must have been AFKing it. 36K. Yeah, this will work. And then we just need to make sure that the funnel on the other side is also fast enough to keep up with that. Let's hop right over here. And we're going to pull this funnel off. We're going to put this funnel on. There we go. And the only thing we were missing here, we do need to lock this up. So let's go ahead and lock that. There we go. That means iron is now automated. All I have to do is go do exactly the same thing for our copper production. All right, y'all. Well, we did a little bit more today than I was originally planning. I am glad that we have brass up and running, though, and I think that the rotational speed controller is going to make this all go a lot smoother in the future. I might need to make up a few more of those, but that's easy enough from where we're at right now. But for now, that's the end of this episode. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.